Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. As we build towards this Saturday's meeting at Odsal Stadium, Bradford, it's only right that we talk to an individual with very close links to the venue. That driver is 67 Henry Robson. Good evening, Henry. You're right.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. I'm liking that you're wearing a hat as well. You can join
Yeah,
my club. I like it.
yeah,
I like it. So your name, it might be familiar to some people that kind of have been around Formula One stock cars, but this Saturday is going to be your first outing in the UK in a Formula One
yeah,
stock car. That's right, isn't it?
yeah. First time. I obviously last year went to Venray, did that weekend off the back and just steady away. I enjoyed it, so this year we're gonna give it a better go, see what we can do.
Okay. So, because that's quite. Why did you go to Venray? Was that just like it was a spur of the moment thing? What?
Yeah,
What?
well, we had planned to go in our tarmac car, but the engine wasn't ready at the time. Well, it still isn't ready, but that's a different matter. But so yeah, we were going to go in the shale car, and then Jason Wilkinson kindly offered that we used his tarmac car, so we went across in that, and yeah, enjoyed it.
And that was your first time in a Formula One.
First time, yeah, first time.
Because the thing is, like, because people might, but you're not very old.
No, 16. So when I went to Venray, I was 3 days past my 16th birthday, so it was pretty soon into
Yeah.
it, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of racing in oval formulas, you have raced in something before, haven't you?
Yeah, I raced mini stocks, started when I was 11, finished a bit before I was 16, just work and everything sort of took over from it. But yeah, we quite successful really on the shale more than the tarmac. I've always enjoyed shale more really.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was good times, really.
good. And your dad raced Formula One sort of on and off. Was the
Yeah,
intention always to come into Formula One yourself after minutes, or was it like I'm not
yeah.
sure?
So, well, when I was younger and sort of 10, 12 years ago, my dad was sort of racing the shale more often, doing all the Coventries and all the Kings Lynns. So I was obviously watching then, thinking that's what I was wanting to do. And then when I was getting older, we were sort of going to go the route of V8s first and then into the F1s. But now that we're here, we just thought we've got two cars, so we might as well go for it and see what happens, really.
Yeah, because your sister raced V8s, didn't she? Is that right?
Yeah, my sister raced sort of 2021, I think she raced. She's over in Germany now with work. So she can't race this season, but when she gets home she'll be back into it and yeah, so it'll be busy.
Good. So you mentioned, you did Venray, and then you were like, right, I love it. I want to do it. So 2023 is kind of started, and we've got
Yeah.
Bradford this Saturday. Are you planning a full season in the sport this year?
At the minute, no. So it'll probably just be Bradford and Sheffield. Um, we'll do all the Bradfords, all the Sheffields, and sort of what we can work in around that with work and because if we have a meeting at Bradford or Sheffield with bangers or F2s, I'll probably have to be there rather than elsewhere with F1s. But weekends like the European weekend, I don't think we've got any meetings on there, and the World final weekend, they'll be good ones to go to. So I think we'll be there, but we'll just have to see what happens really.
Yeah, of course, of course. So like this year, what are you looking to achieve? You've got Bradford, Sheffield, so you've got a good number of meetings there on Shale, and what are you trying to look for this
Yeah,
one?
I'd like to, if I can get together, talk off just the meetings that I do. That'd be good. Maybe win a race if I go off the front and sort of get going well. But yeah, that's sort of it. I haven't got much sort of intentions of big achievements at the minute, and
Yeah,
then what we do in the future, hopefully build up and yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So like you've mentioned, you've kind of got a tarmac car and a shell. Is that right? You've got two cars at your
yeah,
disposal for
tarmac
this
car.
year.
So our tarmac car, we've had that a while now, about 7 years we've had it, but that came from James Lund originally.
Okay.
Um, his purple car, well, one of his purple cars, and then our shale car was Neil Holcroft's red chassis car
Okay.
that got second in the British, I think, in 2012, and that's that car. So yeah, it's going. We got a good sort of setup, so we might as well. do something with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the cars that James Lund built as well. They're very nice cars. They're very beautiful.
So we actually, because my dad was racing at the time, there was sort of a few cab adjustments to have to it. So it went down to Harrison's, and while it was there, I got a few more sort of advanced stuff done to it, suspension-wise and back axle-wise. So yeah, it's sort of a mix with James Lund chassis, but Harrison sort of gear on it.
Yeah, which is a perfect combination.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Lund and Harrison, you can't. You can't.
You've got no excuses, really, Henry, have you? Do you know what I mean?
No,
You've got your own track like that, and like you've got great cars. I know.
Yeah, I know. I've got to perform now, haven't I?
Yeah, absolutely. So you've had the cars and you've had them a while. Are they kind of nearly ready? Because normally at this point we kind of go, right, show your cars, and you said like, oh, Jonathan, I'll do the interview, but my cars aren't ready. Has it been a lot of work to get them to where they need to be?
Yeah, it's been sort of a rush the past couple of weeks, really. So it has a new front bumper and sort of the basic stuff it needed, but we're just on going through it now. Tonight we're in the workshop doing it. So the tarmac car is not a long way off. It needs an engine in it, but which is quite a key part, to be fair. But the trail car's it'll be ready for Bradford, so
yeah,
just not quite there yet.
So absolutely, so it's a good incentive for people to go to Bradford on Saturday because they can see your car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good. It's like we planned it, Henry. It's like we planned
it.
So I mentioned at the start, and we've kind of touched upon it a little bit, that your dad is joint promoter with Russell Andrew at Bradford and Sheffield in terms of the Yorstox promotion. When those initial conversations were taking place about, oh, we might kind of take over Star Tracks, you must have been like a kid in the sweet shop. Like, yes, like own stock car track.
So I remember my dad first sort of mentioned it when he came home, and I was like, yes, definitely, go for it. He's not so keen at the time, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah. And they seem to be enjoying it. And I think, clearly the pair of them are very passionate, A, about the sport, but B, about making Bradford and Sheffield a success and making the place that people want to go and race.
It's just a hobby for them. Like, they've got the sort of businesses away from that. So Yorstox and Bradford and Sheffield is predominantly just making everything better for the sport, moving the sport forward in terms of what, fan base is like and stuff like that. So, yeah, everything's for promoting the job we do. So,
yeah, which is brilliant, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So last season, so the Bradford track had quite a bit of work done to it because of slight issues with it and sort of real improvements in the track surfaces. Has there been much kind of going on over the winter at Bradford or Sheffield, for the coming season?
So there's been a bit going on, mainly Bradford. Obviously the track after the 2021 season was maybe it's looking a bit sorry for itself, but hopefully we've sort of got it pulled round so far. There's still a lot of work to do in terms of learning what the shell does and how it moves with cars travelling on it and stuff like that. But we're getting there now, I think. But yeah, we've got some ideas and stuff to implement into it, so it should be good.
So you don't think about that? I mean, when I saw Frank Raymond Jr. at the NEC, he got his new shell car, and he was talking about it got all these like different bars on it and stuff, and about the fact that he can change it throughout a meeting. I'm like saying, well, you must kind of know what you need to do. Like at a shell meeting is like absolutely not, because it's so different. Like every race and every meeting is always different. And I guess for you guys, well, preparing a track, it must be very different again.
Yeah, and it's obviously weather's a big part of it. If in the week we have wet weather, your Saturday could be dry, but if we've had 5 days of rain, it's hard to sort of get the track right for that, especially with Bradford. It's in a big bowl, it's on a bank, so it's hard to sort of keep moisture in the track as well as not flooding it. So it's sort of a tricky combination you've got to work, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, and just a question, and maybe you can't answer it, maybe you don't want to answer it, but I've seen a bit of commentary about Sheffield on social media about the fence, and there was talk about maybe changing the fence for this year. Is that kind of happening, or? It's
in sort of the pipelines, if you like. So the work on it, it's definitely something we want to do. For the drivers, for the fans, for everyone really. It'd be good if Sheffield's a fast track, so if you can sort of a lot of the damage at Sheffield, a lot of the times comes from bouncing out of the fence rather
Yes.
than actually hitting the post. So
Yeah.
if you can sort of just glance off the fence and carry on, well, it makes it a better race for everyone, really. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's in sort of our heads of what we want to do in the future. So yeah,
It's still there, just not quite
yeah,
yet.
in progress.
Good. I like in progress. When
Yeah,
my me about stuff I've done it at work, I'm like, yeah, it's got it in my head. It's all,
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all
yeah,
good. Formula stock cars in general does feel like it's in a very good place at the moment. And, you know, you guys are talking about promoting the sport. You know, this week we've kind of featured new drivers, new cars, people coming into the sport. It just
yeah.
feels healthy at the moment.
It does, and there's a buzz about it at the minute. I feel like, with Top Gear and everything like that, and NEC was a really good show. It's all sort of picking up now. COVID hit hard,
Yeah.
so building it back up from what it was sort of during COVID, which was sort of not there. Yeah, it's going well, I feel.
Yeah. And I think we talk about sort of last thing about Bradford, but we talk about what a venue it is and how many people that maybe have forgotten about Bradford that used to go years ago.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
know, it's just we need to get those people back, don't we?
Yeah, there's so many people you speak to like in and around Bradford, and they're like, "Oh, we used to go in the '90s, and we didn't realise it had opened again." So it's just promoting it around sort of the locals as well as far and wide, because they're the ones that are going to be there sort of every meeting at domestic and F1 meetings at the end. So yeah,
Absolutely. Henry, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you tonight. Thanks so much for kind of talking about, you know, you coming into Formula One and a bit
yeah,
about Sheffield. So my final question before you go and work on your shower car to get it ready for Saturday.
yeah.
Are you going to get there dead early to get some practice laps in before the gates open?
I couldn't tell you that one. No, we'll see. We'll have just painted the fence, so I don't want to dirty it. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah. But in all seriousness though, how fantastic is it? You know, like some people have got fields that they can take their cars around. You can actually go to a stock car
Yeah,
track. It's just brilliant, you know.
perfect.
Right, Henry, I'll let you get on, and I shall see you on Saturday at what's looking like a great meeting at Bradford.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
See ya.